Also, make note, if you work underneath a car, anything that's hanging up here, if you hit it with your head, it hurts. So, just have to watch your head. So, here we go. Okay, let me talk about a little bit what I'm gonna get ready to do. I'm getting ready to install this camshaft that was actually made by Brian Tooley Racing. Anyway, kind of give you up-to-date back history on this. Some time ago, I contacted them and I asked them about a camshaft recommendation. Told them what I had and all this stuff. They actually told me that they had a new cam they're getting ready to come out with for people like me that have a stock motor, stock headed, nothing done to it, but a full out race application cam. Some of the criteria was the gearing and the converters and all that stuff, and specifically for drag racing only. So they had this in the works. I put the order in over a month ago, and they said they'd already did some testing on the dyno with it, but they didn't have anybody did any track testing with it yet. So anyway, I went ahead and put the order in, went ahead and placed it, and it's sitting here on the bench a little over a month, later they send it to us. So anyway, I have it. What I'm getting ready to do is going to install this in the car and check the piston valve clearance. You'll see all that. They claim that there should be no interference with that. Waiting to be seen. But anyway, I'm going to go through all the checks and go from there and see what the result's going to be. So hopefully it all turns out. All we have to do is just plug the cam in, button things up, and off we go to the track. So anyway, we're going to hop to it and try to get this thing installed. It's not too often on a nice summer day you have the door open to the garage. It's actually kind of comfortable out there. It's probably like 75, 78. Some storage moving around, but it does make it pretty nice working on the car. So if it gets too uncomfortable, we've got air conditioner there in the back. We can always fire that up, but I don't see any use for it right now. Anyway, you can actually hear the rumble in the background. Anyway, for now, we're going to go ahead and get things started and start to get this motor out, get the new cam in. Okay, it's sitting out on the stand, waiting to be taken apart a little bit more. Pop that cam out, put the other one in, and start checking it. Make sure it fits. So, more of that to come. What we're getting ready to do next is, with the current cam that's in there, I want to check to see how much piston valve clearance, how it's set up currently with this cam. This is the Summit Stage 4 cam that's in here, but I'm going to get the piston valve clearance so I can show you how much clearance we have on the current cam. Then once we get the new cam in, we'll do another comparison on that, get the piston, the valve clearance on that as well. So anyway, we're getting ready to get the dial indicator out and get all that stuff set up and go from there. Okay, we have to put some lightweight springs on it like I did on this one. This tool here makes really handy getting the valves off. Watch this. I'm gonna just make it there. You can see how it got it loose already. So what I'm gonna do next, get a magnet on it and pull those. This is how we did our piston valve clearance check on the existing cam that's in there. And what we got on both of them was actually 115 on the intake and the exhaust. So the next task is go ahead and swap out the cam and see what the clearance is on that. Took the timing chain out, of course. This plate that holds the cam, it's a retainer plate. Then we spun the cam around as fast as we could, and we're still having one or two lifters drop. We stuck some dowel rods in here. That didn't work. It didn't keep the lifters from falling down. They weren't exactly the same size dowel rods. They were 5/16 or 3/8. I can't. No, they're 3/8. Then we tried to sand them down to 5/16. But anyway, we still couldn't keep the lifters from falling down in the hole. So our choice right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pop the heads off real quick here. It doesn't take much time to do that. Got all the heads off. both sides. Lifters are all pulled out, so I won't have that issue anymore. It looks pretty clean inside. Took a couple bolts here. Just gonna pull the cam out next. Okay, as you can see, the cam is out. Got it all taken care of. The new cam is in. We stuck a head on it, put the original gasket back on it. Of course, has a checker spring, stuck one valve in it. It's sitting at 0 lash. It's our adjustable push rod, so I didn't want to have my push rods I'm going to use in it right now. We'll check those and make sure they will still work, but right now everything's at 0. Got our dial wheel on it, degree wheel on it, to help us out on degreeing it and make sure everything looks good. So anyway, that's actually a homemade one. Looks pretty cool, huh? So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and put the dial indicator back up on it and go through the test and see if we got enough clearance for piston valve clearance on this cam. Well, we got all the measurements done. The piston valve clearance is actually a little bit better on this cam than on the other cam that was actually in there. Intake was sitting right up about 132, and on the exhaust about 133. So we actually gained a little bit more clearance on this cam. Before it was 115 on both the intake and exhaust on the other cam. So this is our temporary work area. It's underneath the car. This way don't have that far to put the motor in. It just goes up there. Normally we'd be in that room there, but since this is going to be a short-term thing, we decided to just work out here. The AC is on. It's keeping Pops cool. Okay, the head's all back on, all torqued down, both sides obviously. So next plans is to get all the intake on, valve covers on, kind of button the front end up a little bit, get the cover on. Okay, all the valves are put back in, they're adjusted, front balancer's on. Getting ready to fix a few little oil leaks. One's actually over here in this one sensor, and the other one is that little plug there. So naturally we got to drain the oil out of this thing. We didn't do that before we pulled it, so this is going to be fun trying to do all this while it's sitting here in this fixture. But anyway, that's the next task. Also, make note, if you work underneath your car, anything that's hanging up here, if you hit it with your head, it hurts. So just have to watch your head. Voila, all back together. Heads on, intakes on, accessories on the front. So it's all done. Just let you know, cam that's in this is a Brian Tooley Stage 5 LS3 Cam. It's naturally aspirated. It's set up for a drag racing only. So anyway, just lets everybody know this is actually one of the newest cams that Brian Tooley has out. Everything checked out, piston valve clearance, everything checked out great on us. This is a 6-liter motor with 243 heads on it. Plenty of valve clearance on it. In fact, I got more piston valve clearance on this cam than I did to have at my other cam. This has a little bit more duration in it, has a little bit bigger lift in it, and we still have ample clearance in it. So anyway, very pleased with it. Can't wait to get this thing fired up and take it on down the track. So until then, motors is actually back in the car. Motor is all in, all connected. We're just doing the final connection, hookups and everything. Glass is still out. We still got to get that put in place and cut and all that good stuff. But for the most part, everything is in here. It's got new oil on it. Just need to prime it, put some water in it, and put the carburetor on. Got to get the wheels put back and all that stuff. But tomorrow we're gonna plan on firing this sucker up. But yeah. This first startup on the new cam. If if this goes terribly wrong, I don't know if I'm going to post this or not.
Check for fuel leak.
Okay. Fuel. Try that again. We had a fuel leak we had to fix real quick. So I think we're ready to go now. What we doing? Standing by?
Four pieces come flying at me.
Oh, thanks.
Oil pressure?
None. Okay, number 3. We didn't have the oil pressure and the oil temperature sensors plugged in, so that's why we stopped it from running. But it did fire, so see how it goes this time. Getting better. Smoke that you see coming off is just oil in the header. It's no biggie. Still got a little fuel leak. We're gonna go ahead and get fixed here real quick. So give us a second. But guess what? Fired up. Well, you heard it run. Can't wait till we go out and test the tune Friday night. It's sitting in here. You can see the modifications we did to the where the carburetor sits. We opened it up really large. This is because we're going to put a Super Vic on it and try it, run it with the Super Vic and see how much it picks up. But I need to cut all that out so we could get the Super Vic on there. So we got ample room now to run it. So anyway, pleased with it. Got a little bit more cleanup to do. Still got the window to put in, a little bit of trim work here around it and stuff. And get the dash pad all put back together, all that good stuff. But you heard it run. Sounds really, really good. Good oil pressure, good everything. So anyway, I'm going to put it back here in the shop here and finish up cleaning stuff up with it and get this thing ready for Friday night. So got a few days to go, so got plenty of time to do it. So anyway, let's get to it.